it's Mary Yang here, and I have a letter to a whole bunch of people in Portland. Maybe I'll tell you at the very end who it's to, but just imagine this is to everybody from every corner of every aisle of everything. And this is the day that someone was shot during day 3 or the morning of the third night of protests surrounding the election of 2016 in Portland, Oregon. And so I've written this letter. It was at first a letter most likely to the Department of Justice, and then I just kept thinking of more people who it involved or who might benefit from some of this information. So I will go because it is very long. Here we go. Okay. Apologies for this long, confusing letter. I'm too tired to proofread and edit and organize it. Please absorb what you can. Okay, a link to the article, One Arrested at the Anti-Trump Protest. I know Michael Withy, and he knew the Ben Pickering situation well, to working with the homeless activist community. He often says insightful things at City Hall. I am glad he has given voice re arrests of non-violent people and people rendering aid to the injured. Intimidation to reduce or to induce informant status. He spoke at the fairness hearing, I believe. Add him to my list of citizens experiencing retaliation in violation of the settlement section 130 or offering citizen input in a peaceful, constructive manner. Dan Handelman has been increasingly treated rudely by Hales in the last few weeks. This should be noted as he usually gets preferred treatment for his stupendous scholarship and male preference, in which Hales always condescends to women and then shafts them of respect and speaking time, even those who work for the city. I knocked Hales so off kilter he lost track of his measures, and Amanda Fritz had to get him back on track after my Yom Kippur speech. Hales always denies me extra speaking time, yet frequently extends Dan's. That is why I must be terse and even more scathing. Dan Handelman should be commended for keeping his cool 2 weeks before, as Charles Johnson had a role-play acting of, "Call 911, I'm Charlie Hales, send me to the mental hospital." I suggested to Dan it was less an actual mental episode as a failed comedy routine, as I know Charles' intense wit and sense of parody. So that week, and 2 weeks later, last Wednesday, October 26th, I had a successful de-escalation operations with G4S agent Jason, who should be commended for non-violence. Jason is the one who said to Bob West, "Have you raped any women lately?" Bob West published the video of this interactions moments before the Yom Kippur stampede. I'm concerned, is this correct method? Excellent or arguable? I am such an anti-rape person and struggle with my gratitude and sense of forgiveness for humanity in general. Also, we have no resources. Bob is the only person besides Laura Vanderlyn who has a car. They are both extremely generous about helping, as is Sarah Long when she's in town. When police arrest them, they know it is an assault on our mobility to attend meetings, so keep going, guys. Bob West is a reformed offender who suggests he was treated unfairly for a verbal threat to rape, not actual rape. Regardless, I am not sure how we handle the security risks of sex offenders who become activists, yet have reformed their lives and have valuable gifts and contributions to society. I see that G4S obviously doesn't want someone like me to be raped for going to city council. Conversely, West is very protective, street smart, and huge, and acts as a deterrent. He frequently says bright things. Sometimes he is more socially gauche. He is anti-pedophilia. Charles Johnson was sex-stung at age 26 for a date he made with an undercover posing as a 16-year-old male to meet in a park. He told me he was then promptly raped in prison and then never actually committed any crime with the imaginary youth. He found the sting to be predatory and homophobic. I'm not able at this time to assist Charles Johnson obtain Social Security for his autism spectrum-type symptoms or inability to function in the non-existent flatline economy. He was raised by wealthy, intelligent people, and it shows. I am shattered that he suffers lack of safe housing for all he contributes toward reform. Keith's vendetta at child sex offender Matt Tennessee is in the context of admitted rape of a 12-year-old female relative. Perhaps a word to the wise is sufficient, and Hales will stop flaunting him. The Hardesty seem to have moved into a place of forgiveness, Roger Hardesty actually bullied me intensely online about Hart Noeka, an accused multi-rapist whose mommy bought him a lawyer to get his rape victim intimidated into dropping her restraining order. See abusiveanarchisttumblr.com. Hart Noeka began bullying me online 2016 January. Roger Hardesty started bullying me for telling him to leave me alone on Twitter if he continually contacts Hart Noeka, and then me, and then the alleged rapist, strangler, date rape, drug, or sodomist. So, his near killing via strangulation of the women he raped is too much for me to bear, and I feel frustrated that he is free to roam, whereas the Ministry of Political Prosecutions under Rod Underhill and Keaton Otis killer Cody Byrne can't curtail Charlie Hale's Mike Marshman's arrest and brutalize all the activists routine. 911 happy escalation strategies and ensuing bad cases. It seems like DA is starting to robo-dismiss cases because he realizes Hales is out of his mind. So that only allays part of the stress and torture of the rest and pain compliance. Bob West has a video of extreme pain compliance from about 5 days ago on his latest arrest taken by James Peach, I believe. Also, Bob West has unearthed this Patty's Hamburgers Portland Police Retaliation historical story, Patty's Home Plate Cafe, Portland, Rubber Bullet, so I linked to 3 videos. I struggle myself how to approach all humans, including Mike Marshman, who is alleged to cover up his own child abuse instead of investigate and retaliate against the assailant. He looked askance when I proffered his alibi. It caught him off guard. While my kind heart and his connected, this must be explored. Katie Houle believes he cannot be chief. Could we have a chief who is honest, fair, anti-child abuse, and keen for DV services? Hales had Charlie excluded. Oh, no, had Charles Johnson, rather, excluded, and I negotiated for his release. And John Chandler, November 9th, who has been partially exonerated by internal investigator John Rhodes. Oh, no, I've just got to send this to him right now, because otherwise I will forget. I know I will forget. Forward. Because he was forgot in the fun and games of Mary's. This is like a book. This letter is a book. I will keep reading because I think I can keep it under 20 minutes. Okay, did I just hit something? Dun, 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 dun. It says John Rhodes. And how do I make it send? Come. There we go. All right. Okay. Apologize for the delay. Okay. Okay, Robo dismiss cases, Patty's Hamburgers, Kid Who, okay. Okay, so in John Chandler, November 9th, who has been partially exonerated by Internal Affairs investigator John Rhodes, as at least not lying on the 911 on the day of the corkscrew, stopped his clumsy belly bumping with Bob West and Mike Blue Hair. I was able to de-escalate all 3 due to chatting up John Chandler to explain my methodology prior to my Yom Kippur speech. So, 2 successful de-escalations, but mistake to lock down City Hall. Mike Blue Hair objects, and I believe this once again runs afoul of open meetings law and Judge Simon's injunction on exclusions re Walsh v. Anger. Wheeler's assistant in fall 2015 asked me if I was affiliated with Blue Hair. I must say I had a much more proper upbringing. We only became friends after his magnificent rescue of the Michael Strickland case 7/6/16. He explains why many people were bullying Michael Strickland into fear of his life, including Benjamin Carenza and someone else, a radical speaking black activist who promotes violence, Keith knows his name, who escalated the situation. I spoke to Blue extensively after this operation because my own life was endangered as I touched down on the northwest corner of the same block the second it happened, and by reading his facial expression knew something was terribly wrong, as Mike does not ever sweat bullets, and he was, as Strickland's gun was in his face. Blue and I only knew each other casually since 2011 through a person, Aaron Edmonstone Thompson, a mutual contact and excellent filmmaker who had a rather excessive romantic obsession with me that caused me to need to break off all contact with him. Oh, please note, Porkchop, the pepper-sprayed amputee who was attacked night 2 of the 3-day post-Trump quasi-riots, said N-word to don't shoot at the Bundy block party and has apologized. Malcolm Chaddock attacked a fabulous young, eloquent, tech-savvy filmmaker, Demetrius Cooper, aka Demi Cooper, who filmed a hilarious drone surveillance bit at FBI, and just suffered the wrath of Beaverton police, shackling, hog-tying, tasering, etc. for being a black cop watcher. Note the irony of the white protesters of a racial slur at the store using the same racial slur on the black man and telling him to not take the name of Mike Bluehair in vain as he films the odd dynamics of white bullies telling black people how to exist. KKK or BLM, you decide. And that is an editorialized film, which Mike Bluehair brilliantly edited, and Charles Johnson came up with a terse, witty title to help you understand the dynamic that the white people are bullying the black man while the white people pretend to represent them. Anyway, but now I am assuming IA is too busy or scared to speak to me. How every officer is supposed to know who he is, and so therefore retaliation mens rea. Okay, I'm back on Mike Withy, and this is where I really needed to edit. He is visible but never rude, never seen as cutting or sarcastic, just a patient, kind, homeless advocate. Hope you have a decent weekend, considering. I can tell you this, Dan Saltzman is the only city council member who took time off for Yom Kippur to observe the religious holiday. Saltzman has long campaigned against Mark Kruger. He looked generally emboldened that we will win. Yom Kippur is the day you atone for sins and renounce any lies you told to survive in the corrupt world. The spiritual significance of the 1872 Yom Kippur Stampede in Poland and of a 2016 Yom Kippur Stampede and police contract behind his back, so to speak, must hurt him. Some Jewish people really want the contract voided for this offense. I'm bringing up how a contract signed under coercion is invalid. The literal gun to the head effect as the House of Horrors atmosphere induces panic, and council is listening to the screams of torture of the citizens as they vote under the gun. I don't know what we can do to heal, but I do think I may reach deeper into the Jewish religious community to consecrate the crime scene or offer prayers and spiritual advice as the impact is devastating. Watch Saltzman's face here, and then I link to my speech. I get kicked out for asking, would you like to pepper spray me? He says no, and then refuses to answer my next question if he's glad I wasn't pepper sprayed. I'm kicked out and then not allowed to speak on Becky Chow risk management settlement of some small claims policeman misconduct versus women. I'm drawing forth the racial bullying aspects of Hale's theft and arrests of misogynistic persecution of Mexicana Latina feminista activista Laura Elena Veron Vizcarra Vendelin, whom I adore. Her family from Oregon to Santiago to Mexico are tortured to think she would be arrested, harassed about her nationality by the Portland police, and have her iPhone stolen for now 36 days. Her grandchildren and children need her to have her full functionality. Her daughter's boyfriend in San Diego was just almost killed by San Diego police and hospitalized for a beating that caused him to lose consciousness. Hospitalized, okay. Her children and grandchildren are black or Blaxican, as her lovely deceased first husband died tragically of pneumonia 20 years ago, and you have stolen her iPhone, Mr. Hales and Portland police. The city goes on lockdown for my speech. At day 3 non-riot presser, Hales calls us influential activists who are participating in a democracy, despite his repeated exclusions of David Keefe Davis, who used one offensive term. I use 0. Double standard. Due to sitting between Keefe and Lone Vet, I am kicked out so Lone Vet doesn't have my caregiving experience and advocacy and filming in case Hales flips out. ADA violation. I believe my statement on Micah Rhodes almost being stampeded is why Hales got him to speak at the press conference on Friday. I asked Hales if he was calling me influential. He said, yes, you are influential. We shook hands for the first time. I met Nancy Hales, his spouse, and let her know for all my hot-headed critique every time I have ever been at City Council, I would be the first to jump in and protect him if he were in a security threat. The way Rupert Murdoch's old wife, Wendy Dang, defended him from the cream pie. I suggest all cream pies should be vegan if I ever get the pleasure of such an enhanced interrogation. I told her that I love Hales in a Christian or hippie way. She seems stunned to find out who I really am and how I think. I still don't think Hales should evade consequences for O'Day shooting, cover-up, or brutalizing citizens. Okay, so I want to send this to Ethan Knight, and there was one other person that came up in my mind that really needs this. Lone vet. Can I write that down? Can I write anything down ever with a pen? I just learned how to use pen again. So get a computer. Okay, so I'm going to say Ethan Knight. I shall keep him in the loop. And then I'll go lone vet. And there was one other, I think, too. I haven't hit Amanda. Oh, I wanted to say Teresa, maybe, perhaps. Why not? Okay, who cares? Okay, so blah, 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 a hippie way. So I told her I love Hales in a Christian or hippie way. She seems stunned to find out who I really am and how I think. I still don't think Hales should evade consequences for the O'Day shooting, cover-up, or brutalizing citizens. That's the kind of love I have. Tough love, protective love. His issues actually remind me of my dad's collapse into dementia. I don't know if he's all there. My dad's right to drive was removed for his and others' safety. I believe Hale's right to mayor should be removed for his and others' safety. I can't thank Ted Wheeler enough for rising to the occasion. If this political necessity were addressed more expediently, hurt to life and limb of his post-O'Day cover-up victims could have been prevented. And of course the financial drain, and I do hope the legal teams conduct a bloodletting, as it appears all city attorneys are incompetent. If there a software program to write bar complaints on all of them for negligent wounding of the city through failure to prevent preventative legal analysis, see Richard Susskind, The End of Lawyers. It's a brilliant book. As for, and I provide the link. So as for police contract, I can see the point of Mike Heffley, Internal Affairs, who I saw at Jason Cox case. Who knows the whole Jason Cox deal? Oh, that's what I'm going to have to put that down. Heffley knows about Jason Cox. He needs to be interrogated. He needs to be called to trial. Heffley knows what happened. He was at the trial. I know he was. Cox. Heffley. Cox. Subpoena. All right. I've never asked for a subpoena of anyone. Okay. Okay, here we go. Where were we? Oh dear, oh dear. Where are we? I might need to break... Oh, I'm going to break this up into two. All right, so I will be returning with Mike Heffley.